Join me as we step into a time machine of sound and artistry as we commemorate 5 decades of Rush, a band whose music transcends boundaries, ignites imaginations, and defines the very essence of progressive rock. This R50 Super Deluxe box set is not just a collection, it's an odyssey through the band's groundbreaking journey, from their explosive debut in 1974 to their poignant farewell. Rush has continuously rewritten the rulebook of rock. Welcome, everybody, to this week's very special Super Deluxe edition of Ant on Music. I, of course, am your humble host, Ant. And this week, if you haven't figured it out from the intro, if you haven't figured it out from the records behind me, if you haven't figured it out from the coffee mug and shirt, this week's show is about ABBA. No, I'm kidding. Of course, this week's show is about one of the greatest power trios to ever make it in the music industry. Of course, talking about Canadians, Rush. And they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. And in grand fashion, in true Rush style, it's bigger than everything else. They have released a monstrous, and I mean monstrous, box set, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So we're going to have an unboxing of this. I opened it up just to take a peek-see, and we're going to share it with you. Going to share it all with you. So first thing we're going to do, show you a little hype sticker. I don't know how much of that you're going to be able to read because it's so tiny, but there's the hype sticker that came along with it. And this is the back jacket, I guess you would say. You know, that's that. All right. And the box itself, talk about big and beefy. Holy smokes, look at the size of this thing. Rush 50. And it's a very well-made box, very different from usual box sets that you get, whereas this doesn't slide out. Look at that, flips open. How neat is that? You know, so got the Starman right there. And this thing is chock full of great stuff from Rush. It is a career-spanning box set. Brings it all the way from the earliest days with some unreleased music with John Rutsey, all the way up to the last show that they did with Neil Peart out at the Forum in LA. So let's take a look at this thing, all right? First thing we do, let's take out the first book right here because there are a couple of books in here. And this is not going to be easy. Everything is jam-packed in there. Let's see what we can do to get that out. Sure, once we get the first one out, there we go. Everything else will be easier. So the first thing we have here is Rush 50, The Fullness of Time. 50 Years of Rush, the official graphic novel. So this is a hardback book. You know, they spared no expense with putting this together. Nothing flimsy. And this, as you open it up, has the various Rush logos inside. There's the back of it. And the book itself is as it says. It is a graphic novel. We'll just take a quick peek at a couple of the pieces of artwork in here. You know, it is pretty substantial. I'm not going to go here and flip through every page. You know, it would take all night. Let's just put it that way. So you have that. Give another couple of pictures right there. So that is the first book in the Rush 50 Fullness of Time, 50 Years of Rush, the official graphic novel. That's the first thing we have to show you there. Next thing is we open up the magic box. R50. Okay. So we're getting into more goodies. Another book, and this is another hardcover book celebrating the 50th anniversary of everyone's favorite prog rockers from Canada. And this has also the story of Rush in it. Got some excellent new artwork from Hugh Syme, longtime Rush collaborator. And if you go to the back of this, all right, this is where all the CDs are housed, all four of them. It is 50 tracks celebrating the 50 years. It's got, I believe, 7 unreleased tracks, you know, that have never been released before, some of them with John Rutsey. And this also has reimagined artwork from Hugh, representing several, I should say more than several songs in the Rush catalog. So we'll take a look at a couple of them. An updated version of Fly By Night for one. updated version of Xanadu from Farewell to Kings, one of my favorite albums, if not my favorite album of their catalog, at least of their early catalog. Definitely my favorite instrumental of theirs. There is an interpretation of La Villa Strangiato. Another older song in the catalog, In the Mood. If you notice, you have, take a good look, you have a lot of hidden Rush gems in each of these new reimaginings by Hugh Syme. As you see here, you look at the window, you see the rock totem from Test for Echo in the window there. Also, show you one more in here, and then we'll look at other parts of the book as well. It's really a gorgeous book. Let me see if I can find the one I want to show you. Because there's just, like, I could show you all of them. They're gorgeous. I'll show you two. So we've got Big Money and Time Stands Still. Very neat looking stuff from Hugh Syme. And the rest of the book, aside from that, it, has live photos from the band, various tours, and it also has, the history of the band as well. Here's one of the older ones from the late 70s right there. And what about the music? Yeah, let's talk about the music too. So you also have this, enough to read to keep you busy talking about the band themselves. So it's 2 hardcover books. You got the 4 CDs. The 4 CDs copy what's on the LPs. So we'll take a look at those as well. In addition to that, before we get to the music, we have one more thing to look at. And I wish I could show you, but it's not going to really show. But if you kind of look in there a little bit, you'll see it's the inside is wrapped, and it has in there all sorts of stuff that you would see on stage, picks, cables, sticks, you name it, Rush pins. It's all lined inside there. So it's a gorgeous box. It's got like a metallic finish to it. Reflects the light, looks really cool. And then what we have here in this portfolio that they have, all right, we'll show you that, all right, with the Starman right there. More stuff from Hugh, all right? And once again, it's a smaller version of the Fly By Night Owl, updated. Just show you a couple more of these as well. Then we'll talk about the tunes. Temples of Syrinx. All right, so you get the idea. I'll show you one more too. I didn't show you this before. Closer to the Heart. All right, so, and there's 20 of these in here, and they really are neat. They're suitable for framing, I would say. I'll show you counterparts. Why not? That's what we all came here for, to take a look at all the goodies. All right, so that covers part of everything that's in here. You get a taste of what's in here. And then you got the music, all right? And the music is what we're here for. And let's get this flipped open again. And let's see. We start at the beginning or the end? We started at the end. Let's start at the beginning. That's the best place. It's always best to start at the beginning. So you have this. Now all these are, basic black R50s on the labels. From a visual standpoint, I mean, you've got enough visual stuff to keep your mind busy looking through it. As far as the albums go, they're fairly basic, except inside each of these, as you can tell, you can kind of make out the Rush logo in there. And on this album, this is the first one. This features unreleased tracks with John Rutsey. You've got unreleased songs. You've got Not Fade Away, You Can't Fight It. You've got what they're calling the Vault Edition, so never been released. The Vault Edition of Working Man, Need Some Love Live, Before and After Live, Bad Boy, Garden Road, also live, Anthem Live, and then Fly By Night and Bastille Day studio versions of those, and that's on the first LP. On the second one, okay, once again, another variation on the R50 logo. Inside, you have the same interior where it says Rush 50. And on this album, We have 2112 Overture, The Temples of the Syrinx, By Torn the Snow Dog Live, which I've listened to most of this already, even though it just came out. The nearly 12-minute version of By Torn the Snow Dog Live on this selection is just amazing. It is a great, great version of the song. Obviously, it's a compendium of 50 years of music, and it is one of the most stellar versions of the song I've ever heard. You also get Something for Nothing, Closer to the Heart, a great version of Xanadu Live, and an early drum solo from way back in the 70s from Neil Peart, which is awesome as well. These things are recorded excellently. They sound phenomenal. It's a great collection. Moving right along, on the third LP, Vault version, a Vault edition of The Trees, which is a little different than what you have on the standard studio album. A phenomenal version of my favorite song, La Villa Strangiato, of their instrumentals, and then In the Mood Live. Then you have a studio version of The Spirit of Radio and another spectacular live edition with Natural Science and Passage to Bangkok Live as well. This is the fourth LP. And on this, we're moving into the 80s. This is where we get Tom Sawyer, then Limelight Live, Vital Signs Live, YYZ Live. And that's where the change came. That was like their most straight ahead rock album at that point was Moving Pictures. And then from there, they kind of diverted, and keyboards became more and more prevalent in their music. Not that they weren't there. They were there, going way back in their catalog. I mean, they obviously started off as like a boogie band, a power blues trio. And once Rutsy left and Neil Peart joined, and they got more into, prog and sci-fi, and, Neil was a very well-read person, read a lot, Fountainhead, things like that, Ayn Rand. And it definitely brought about a big change in their lyrics, and Neil's drumming style brought in a huge change as well. And, Rush can be marked by their changes. It seems they were a band that they would do 3 albums, boom, put out a live album, then there would be a slight change. 3 albums, boom, put out a live album, slight change. So this is where you have that change, right? Right after Exit Stage left and that live album, there was a change. And that change was moving towards more keyboard-oriented stuff with signals. And that's represented on side 2 of this with subdivisions. You also have Red Sector A, Witch Hunt Live, and New World Man Live, which New World Man is one of my favorite tracks as well. I mean, I can almost say that about almost every Rush track because they're one of my favorite bands of all time. And it really is great to see this, to celebrate the band. And the live versions they've picked, these are ones that have never been heard before in a lot of cases, or in some cases, if you take a look up there, you see that one up in the corner there. It's the same set. That's the bootleg of it. So, from the early stuff from 74. But, hey, it's great to have an official release of a lot of these things cleaned up and sounding so much better than what it was. The next one, all right, this is 5, okay? And R50 once again. Front and back, similar inside, basic black album. On this, we get the representation of the Big Money from the Power Windows album, Time Stands Still, Distant Early Warning Live, which is really cool, Superconductor, Dreamline, which I've always dug, that's a great tune, Stick It Out, Test for Echo, and The Rhythm Method Live. So you have that. Unfortunately, no dog ears on this one, but hey, you can't have everything. That's for a friend of mine, he'll get the joke. Next, moving right along, album 6 in this monstrous set. We have One Little Victory, the remix version. There were 2 albums that were 2 versions that I will put out. The original version, then they went and remixed it and cleaned it up. Cygnus X1 Live, The Seeker, which is from the Feedback album. And if you listen to the Feedback album, you really get a sense, like, sit down and listen to that, and then go listen to the first album in this set, and you could see exactly where that stuff would fit in. If you came to Rush later in life, you probably wouldn't figure out that, hey, these guys were, were bluesy. If you got into them from, moving pictures on, you'd have no concept where that came from, and it would seem like an outlier. But when you compare it to that stuff, the early Rush stuff, the stuff on, on Rush, fits right in. Also on this, we have the Main Monkey Business, Working Them Angels Live, and Free Will, which is often something that is misinterpreted by a lot of people. Free will does not mean just do as you please. Finally, final set here, you have Red Barchetta Live, Headlong Flight, Manhattan Project Live, Jacob's Ladder, and then finishes off final track ever recorded with Neil Peart, and the last song ever to be recorded in the Rush catalog. You have What You're Doing, Working Man, and Garden Road Live from the LA Forum. And the live stuff is from all over the place. Some stuff is from LA, some stuff is from Toronto at Macy Hall. It really is a phenomenal set. It's definitely worthwhile if you're a big Rush fan, like myself. And obviously, if you're checking out this video, you must be a Rush fan as well. That's all I'm showing to you this week. And, I mean, it's worth it. It's the one thing. It's the one thing. There's no reason to show you any other records or anything like that. Rush 50, it's available in different configurations. You have this monster box, right? So now I can actually lift it with some degree of ease now that it's empty. It also comes in just the CD version with just the 4 CDs. Has all the same material on it. It also comes in just the vinyl. You can just get the vinyl of it. And also it's available online. It's available through, like Amazon Music, iTunes, you name it, Spotify. You can get it wherever you want to get it. But that is everything I have to show for you this week. And as usual, I want to say thank you for checking out the channel. Give a thumbs up, drop a comment, tell me what you'd like to see. Working on a lot of new stuff as we move through the spring and summer of this year. Obviously, we're about a month out from, or actually less than a month out. Wow, less than a month out from Record Store Day. How cool is that? Cannot wait to that day. That's like, for me, that's like the 4th of July, Christmas, Halloween, my birthday, my anniversary, my kids' birthdays all rolled into one. That's like my big national holiday for me. Or as I like to say, it's my holy day of obligation. But anyhow, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Really do appreciate it. Come back, check other stuff on the channel. There's lots of good stuff on here, right? Thank you so much. Have a great day. And as I always say, peace, one love, music, and I'm out.